Good morning, guys. Hey, today is is cold here in Cape Town. Okay, I don't want to waste your time, guys. This is Hussein Saidin. Um, Today I want to talk about the reasons, few reasons um, that can cause the piston to collide with a valve. There are quite a number of the reasons, depend on the situation. When someone is doing the engine overhaul, and then you miss timing, or else you put the wrong timing, um, the piston will collide with the valves. As soon as you swing the engine, that will happen. So it means it will not start, but the piston will collide with the valve. But then if you miss with one teeth or two, or one teeth, because if it is two, it will collide. But if you miss the timing with one teeth, the engine will start, but there will be a slight misfiring. It's more misfiring that if you are not a good mechanic, you will not hear that. But a good mechanic can hear it, and the engine will lose power. If it is a car, if it is a truck, if it is a tractor, if it is a forklift, if it is any engine, if you miss with one tooth, there will be a small, like, if you are not a good mechanic, you will not even hear it. Yeah? You will not hear it. But a good mechanic and also a good driver can listen and hear that no, there is a misfiring in here. Okay, that is if you miss with one teeth. But if you miss with two or three teeth, what will happen is when the piston is moving up, instead of the valves to close, then the valves will be opening, and then the two will collide. Because remember, in the combustion chamber, there is a small gap from the head to the piston. There is a small gap. So while the piston is moving up and the valve is opening, they will collide. That's the first reason. And then the the valve will bend. But in most cases, if it is a big truck, a tractor, and a big engine, they will not bend. They will break. Okay, so the second one uh, is when you do your valve clearance, and if you do it wrong, and remember, when we're doing the valve clearance, we must do it when the engine is cold. So while the engine is hot now and you do it wrong, the gap is too small, then the valve will not automatically, like, will not fully close, so it will also collide. Then the third one is if the valve springs are weak. If the valve springs are weak, and remember one thing, if the valve springs are weak, the valves will not close in time. So if they are not closing in time, when they are supposed to be fully closed and they are opening, it means also while the piston is coming, it will collide, but that one will not break the valve. It will just bend the valve because it will be a little bit. And then the other case on diesel engine, when the injector is spraying too much or excessive fuel in the combustion chamber, it will be excessive hot also. So since it will be too hot and the valve will be weak because it will be red hot, that that is what is not supposed to be done there. So it will be red hot and it will be weak. While the springs are pulling them up, they will stretch, and then when they are closing, they will not close enough and they will break, and then the valve head will fall in the combustion chamber, and then it will be on top of the piston. While the piston is moving up and down, it will move it up, and then it will hit the head. After hitting the head, it will hit also the other valves, and then when it hit all other valves, and then they will break. When they break, a lot of things will happen, a lot of damages will happen. But now for today, I'll show you what we are having here. What we're having here is a Volvo D13 engine. What happened there is we did this engine, we bought a new head, and the head was complete. We didn't do anything on the head. We did the engine was driving perfect. So the valve keeper, it broke. So I don't know if it was weak, but I think it was weak because it's the valve keeper that broke. When it breaks, then the valve drops. When the valve drop, it collide with the piston because it was down. There's nothing that was going to lift the valve up because the springs now they are loose. The valve is just down, and then the piston hit the valve. When the piston hit the valve break. And the valve break, it hit other three valves because it's Volvo D13 engine. It have got 4 valves, 2 exhaust, 2 inlet, and then this it happened to the inlet one, and then it hit all other ones and they break. So since they were broken, all of them, it means it was open where they were supposed to close the inlet and the exhaust. Then those particles, now when the piston was moving up with the compression, it pushes those valve heads, because now they were pieces now. Then they go to the inlet side, and the other ones they go to the exhaust side. So they damage the table to the exhaust side. To the inlet, they go in, and then they head to get in other cylinders also, and then yeah, they make a little damages there. So we are going to do this engine. So I'll show you now what happened, and then yeah. So these are the causes of the valves and the piston collide. Okay guys, so stay tuned. I want to show you now the problem that we have. Thank you guys. Guys, today I'm doing this track. I want to show you what is happening on this track. It was driving, and then the driver heard a big sound of metals that were hitting something inside them. So he called me, and then I said, "Yes, stop the truck, stop the engine, switch off the engine." We switch off the engine, and then we towed the truck, and then it came here. Then we opened the tappet cover, and then we saw that the valve were dropped. Okay, so this is the result. You see, this is the sleeve. You can see they've got a crack. See, they've got cracks. But those cracks, they were caused by this one here. You can see. So this happens when sometimes it is caused by 2 or 3 different reasons. Number one, if the injectors are putting too much diesel, it will be excessive hot in the combustion chamber, and if it is excessive hot, then the valves can break, the valve head can break, and then it collide with the piston, and then it will hit the head, and then the head will crack. Then the other thing, if the valve springs are not right, also if the valve springs are not right, like if they are not strong enough to retain the valve in time, the valve also can collide with the piston, and then this problem will occur. But now on this one, what happened is our valves, those valve keepers, they broke. When they broke, then the valve dropped, and then it hit the piston, and then the problem comes, because when it hit the piston, that valve head, it was still in the combustion chamber, and then when the piston was going up and down, it was still in there, and then it hit all the other valves, because this is Volvo D13, it have got 4 valves on one cylinder. So remember, the truck, when it is revving, this one, like Volvo, it revs 600 rev per minute. That's what we call 600 RPM. It means 600 rev per minute. So just imagine 600 rev per minute and 600 revolutions. That's rev, meaning to say the engine will turn 600 times per minute. And then just imagine there's something inside there, and then while it is moving up and down, that valve head is inside here, and then when it is moving up, you see there is a small gap from the cylinder head to the piston. So that small gap is where that valve head is, and when it is moving up, it will press that valve head to the cylinder head, and that's why this happened. And then the cylinder head also, it was cracked. Since the air was coming in and the fuel was coming in, there was too much pressure now in the sleeve. That is why also it breaks like this, you see. So now what we are going to do, we are going to just to patch this engine. We are not going to do the whole engine over. We are going to change this. There are now two of them. We are going to change these 2 pistons, and then these 2 sleeves, and put a new cylinder head. Then we close the engine and start the engine. I'll show you when the engine starts. Thank you. See you on the next video.